Welcome to Kanerika's podcast, The Digital Sift.
Glad to be here for this one.
Yeah, so imagine waking up tomorrow, right? And you find your family vacation is just completely booked.
Like flights, hotels, everything.
Exactly. And your morning meetings are already summarized, plus a fully designed pitch deck is just sitting in your inbox for your 10 a.m.
And all of this happens before you've even opened your eyes or, touched a keyboard.
Right. Today, we are exploring exactly how that scenario is moving from science fiction into absolute reality. We're doing a deep dive into some incredibly impactful content regarding ChatGPT's massive 2026 updates.
It's a huge update.
It really is. The core mission of this deep dive is to unpack a fundamental transition. AI is shifting from a tool that simply answers your questions into an active, autonomous agent that executes complex tasks.
Yeah, across our daily lives and our businesses.
Exactly. So whether you are a parent trying to organize a chaotic weekend or a business leader looking to scale enterprise workflows, this content reveals a monumental shift in how you'll interact with the internet moving forward.
It is not an exaggeration to say the very fabric of our digital experience is being completely rewritten here.
Right. So to really understand the future of AI, I think we first have to look at how the chat interface is absorbing the apps we use right now.
Yeah, it's a shift from conversational AI, where we just talk, to actionable AI.
Right. We're seeing some massive live integrations that are completely changing the user interface. Can you break down what the content says about this new app ecosystem?
Sure. So OpenAI has essentially built a brand new ecosystem directly inside the chat window. They aren't just giving you like a blue hyperlink that kicks you out to a third-party service anymore.
Oh, thank goodness. I hate bouncing between apps.
Right. Instead, they are pulling the full native functionality of those services directly into your conversation. Take Spotify, for instance.
Okay.
Historically, you'd open the Spotify app, tap the search bar, hunt for a playlist, maybe skip a few songs. Now you simply tell the AI, Spotify, make a playlist for a morning run.
And it just does it.
Yeah, the AI processes that intent, connects to Spotify's backend, and instantly generates a curated, playable interface right there in the chat. You hit play without ever leaving the window.
That is wild.
Yeah.
And the content mentions it goes way beyond just media playback, which is where it gets really interesting for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, look at what's happening with Zillow. You can literally type, show me interactive listings for 2-bedroom apartments under $500K in downtown, and boom, actual interactive listings appear.
Yeah, right in the chat.
You can swipe through photos, filter amenities, and compare prices conversationally. Or Canva, You can type out a rough text outline of a presentation, say, Canva, make slides for this pitch, and it instantly generates a fully editable slide deck.
It's incredible. And it's the same with Coursera for learning, or Booking.com and Expedia.
Oh, wow. So for travel, too?
Yeah, you can ask for hotels in New York for Thanksgiving, filter the results, and book the room, all within the exact same thread.
I mean, it's like moving from a librarian who points you to a book to an assistant who reads the book, writes the report, and builds the slide deck for you.
That is a perfect analogy, actually.
But, reading through this content, I couldn't help but wonder something. With the friction of opening separate apps completely removed, do we risk losing the distinct immersive experience of these individual platforms?
That's a really valid question.
Because if I'm a company like Canva or Zillow, I've spent millions perfecting my user interface, right?
Yeah, you've hit on a major debate in the tech world right now. On one hand, yes, you do lose the unique branding journey. The experience becomes visually homogenized into a standardized chat thread.
Right. A Zillow listing looks similar to an Expedia listing.
Exactly. But on the other hand, from the user's perspective, the reduction in cognitive load is enormous. You no longer have to translate your brain's goal into the specific, arbitrary logic of a dozen different apps.
You just state your goal.
Right, in plain English. And the Everything app ecosystem figures out the logic and the routing for you.
So how is this actually happening technically?
Well, it comes down to OpenAI's new apps SDK. And that relies heavily on something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP.
Okay, let's unpack that because it sounds incredibly dense. What exactly is the Model Context Protocol doing behind the scenes?
Think of MCP as a universal translator for visual web elements.
Mm.
Historically, an AI could only read the underlying text data of a website and spit back a text summary.
Right, just a block of text.
Exactly. But MCP standardizes how external interactive data is visually rendered inside the AI's environment. It allows the chat interface to natively display things we used to only see on dedicated websites.
Like interactive maps or image carousels?
Yes, slider bars, fillable forms, all of that. So when you ask Expedia for a hotel, MCP is what allows the AI to hand you a fully functioning booking widget instead of just a bulleted list of hotel names.
That is so cool. Okay, so the chat window absorbs the apps. That's a huge leap. But it still relies on me remembering to ask for the Spotify playlist or the Zillow listings.
Right, it's a reactive relationship still.
Exactly. But the content points out that the next major update completely flips that dynamic. It's no longer about you talking to the AI, it's about the AI talking to you first.
Yes, anticipatory AI.
Right, the shift to ChatGPT Pulse?
Yeah, Pulse is arguably the most significant behavioral shift we've seen since the initial launch of generative models. It's rolling out for pro mobile users right now.
And it's essentially a proactive morning brief, right?
Yes, but the mechanics of how it builds this brief are what make it so powerful. It runs asynchronously overnight while you sleep.
Oh, wow.
It scans your past chats, your system memory, and securely connects to connected apps like your Gmail and your Google Calendar.
Just doing all the prep work in the dark.
Exactly. And by the time you wake up, it has synthesized all of that raw contextual data into 5 to 10 highly visual, highly relevant morning summaries.
The examples of what those summaries look like in the content are wild. I mean, it's not just a boring agenda of you have a meeting at 10 a.m.
No, it's way more intuitive than that.
Yeah, in one demo they showed, Pulse saw an upcoming flight in a calendar, realized from past chats the user had a 2-year-old, and proactively created a specialized travel plan for flying with a toddler.
That is so specific and helpful.
Right. It even generated Halloween costume ideas for a family based on a single passing email from a school. And it curated a custom soccer news roundup because the user had searched for a specific team, like 3 weeks prior.
It's taking these tiny breadcrumbs of context and anticipating needs you didn't even know you had.
Yeah. And the scale at which this is operating is absolutely staggering, isn't it?
It is. CEO Sam Altman announced 800 million weekly active users. To support that, their API is processing an astonishing 6 billion tokens per minute.
Wait, let's contextualize that for a second. A token is roughly equivalent to a word or a syllable, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So we are talking about 4.5 to 5 billion words being processed every 60 seconds. That level of computational throughput is hard to even wrap your head around.
It is entirely unprecedented.
Yeah.
And Altman views this as making high-level support available to everyone, not just the wealthy. It's democratizing the concept of a proactive chief of staff.
Okay, hold on. I hear that. And having a digital chief of staff sounds amazing on paper.
I
But
think-
scanning my Gmail and calendar overnight to build a morning brief sounds incredibly efficient, but also a bit like Big Brother. I mean, how does the content address the privacy boundary for the user?
It's a completely valid reaction, and it's honestly the biggest hurdle for anticipatory AI. But the content notes that all updates undergo strict safety checks.
Okay, how so?
The system uses ephemeral processing. It reads the data to generate the brief, and then that raw data connection is sandboxed. More importantly, users maintain control through feedback and explicit opt-outs.
So you have to actually give it permission first.
Exactly. You have to explicitly grant calendar and email access. You can restrict it from ever touching certain topics like financial emails, and you can revoke access at any time. It's a deliberate shift toward proactive AI, but you hold the leash.
Okay, that makes sense for consumers. But transitioning here, it's one thing to have a proactive AI read your personal calendar to suggest a Halloween costume.
Right.
It's a completely different beast to deploy that kind of proactive intelligence inside a multi-billion-dollar corporation. When you are dealing with patient health records or global financial transactions, user opt-out just isn't enough.
No, not at all.
You need rigorous, auditable security. While consumer tools like Pulse are flashy, implementing these massive AI shifts at the enterprise level requires incredibly serious architecture. And really, this brings the conversation to the work we do.
Absolutely. The jump from consumer convenience to enterprise reliability is vast. You can't just plug a public language model into a hospital's patient database.
Exactly, because we at Kanerika see exactly what it takes to make this happen safely at scale.
Yeah. What we build at Kanerika are the foundational AI-powered data analytic systems that make intelligent automation possible and, more importantly, secure for large organizations.
We take raw, siloed, often messy enterprise data and turn it into actionable insights.
Right. And to do that, we rely heavily on robust enterprise ecosystems. We're talking tools like Microsoft Fabric, Power BI, and Azure Machine Learning.
Yeah, deploying these secure architectures across highly regulated industries like healthcare, finance, and logistics, and addressing that privacy pushback we just talked about. That's why we at Kanerika operate under ISO 27701 and 27001 certifications.
Those are crucial.
Yeah, they aren't just badges you put on a website. ISO 27001 is the global gold standard for information security management, and 27701 is the rigorous privacy extension of that.
It means independent auditors have legally verified that privacy and security are engineered into the very bedrock of our solutions.
Right, ensuring data is encrypted and access is strictly governed. So there is zero risk of a company's proprietary data leaking out into a public model.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture of how AI actually functions in a modern business, it's rarely a single omniscient chatbot trying to do everything at once.
No, that would be a disaster.
Total disaster. Real enterprise AI is an orchestrated team of specialized agents. We at Kanerika deploy a very specific suite of autonomous AI agents, each strictly bounded and tailored for a single enterprise task.
But I love how we've structured this. It's basically like running a massive corporate kitchen. You don't have one person trying to cook, clean, and manage the finances.
Luckily, you have specialists?
Exactly. For example, we have DocGPT. Think of DocGPT as our sous chef. It's a document intelligence agent that instantly retrieves precise information from massive, unstructured corporate archives.
And then we have Alan. Alan is an AI legal summarizer trained specifically to process and condense incredibly lengthy, complex legal documents.
Because legal taxonomy is a whole different language.
Precisely. And just as importantly, we have Susan, our AI PII redactor.
Oh, the health inspector of the kitchen.
Exactly. Susan's entire job is to automatically identify and strip out sensitive, personally identifiable information. If an employee uploads a document containing Social Security numbers or private health data, Susan catches it.
And redacts it before it ever moves further down the data pipeline.
Ensuring absolute compliance, yeah.
Hey.
Then there is Carl, an agent designed purely to analyze data streams and deliver rapid, quantitative insights through Power BI.
And finally, there is Mike, our AI quantitative proofreader. It's fascinating that we at Kanerika deploy highly specialized agents like Mike just to catch arithmetic errors.
Well, that's a huge pain point for businesses.
It is, because if you're a business leader listening to this, you might be thinking, great, but how do I stop an AI from hallucinating my financial data? Large language models are essentially advanced autocomplete, right?
Yeah, they predict the next likely word. They are fantastic at poetry, but famously terrible at hard math.
Exactly, which is why Mike is so important. He doesn't guess. He uses specialized tool calls to verify the logic. It proves that while broad, general AI is flashy, modular and specialized AI is what actually drives secure business decisions.
Precisely. You don't want a creative poet doing your accounting. You can deploy Alan to handle your legal backlog and Susan to secure your data pipeline, all integrated seamlessly.
Okay, so having established how we at Kanerika handle enterprise data today, let's zoom back out to the broader internet ecosystem. The content highlights where consumer and business interaction is heading tomorrow.
Yes, and it's heading toward an era of agentic commerce paired with entirely new multimodal interfaces.
Agentic commerce. Let's break that down. The content mentions deep integrations are currently in development for transactional giants like Uber, DoorDash, Instacart, and Target.
Right. The goal isn't just to show you information anymore. The goal is to actually execute the transaction on your behalf.
And a massive catalyst for this is a new feature called Instant Checkout, right?
Yeah, this connects ChatGPT directly to massive e-commerce infrastructures like Shopify, Etsy, and Stripe.
Yeah.
You don't get kicked out to a payment gateway.
So you authorize and complete the financial purchase directly inside the chat window?
Exactly. You are essentially giving the AI agency, authorizing it to spend up to a certain amount to solve a problem. You aren't shopping, you are delegating.
That is wild. And this is being paired with the multimodal aspect, right? The content talks about the integration of the Sora 2 model.
Yes, Sora 2 allows developers to generate short, highly controlled cinematic video. Imagine you were looking for a new sofa. You describe your living room, and the AI instantly generates a customized, high-definition video demonstrating exactly how that specific sofa will look in your space.
With realistic lighting and everything?
It's incredibly immersive.
Oh, wow. And then you pair that video capability with the new GPT Realtime mini model for audio.
Exactly. The GPT Realtime Mini model enables incredibly fast, low-latency audio interaction, latency under 300 milliseconds.
Which is the threshold of human reaction time, so the awkward pauses are gone.
They're completely gone. It creates an interface virtually indistinguishable from talking to a human assistant on the phone.
So we're moving from a search engine to a Dua engine. You no longer search for a flight or a grocery item. You just tell the AI to execute the transaction.
You just say, "Get me my usual groceries from Instacart," and it happens. If we pull all these threads together, the traditional web browser interface is effectively collapsing into a single, seamless conversational thread.
Wow. Okay, let's take a breath and quickly recap the incredible ground we've covered today.
It's a lot to take in.
It really is. We started by exploring the shift to actionable AI, how apps like Spotify and Zillow are living natively inside our chats through the Model Context Protocol. Then we unpacked the massive scale of anticipatory AI with ChatGPT Pulse getting a proactive morning brief.
Processing billions of tokens to do it.
Right. And finally, we looked at the future of instant agentic commerce and the new multimodal video and audio interfaces.
And of course, we talked about how we at Kanerika are here to help businesses move faster and navigate this digital shift.
Yes, implementing these complex AI solutions securely and scalably.
Because as we navigate this transition, it leaves us with a lingering question to mull over. Well, when AI agents can flawlessly anticipate your morning schedule, automatically book your travel, and seamlessly buy your groceries, at what point do we stop making our own daily choices?
Ooh, that's heavy.
Right. If the AI optimizes everything, do we lose the human joy of serendipitous discovery?
That is such a profound thought to leave you with. Sometimes the best things happen when we take a wrong turn or buy something totally unexpected. Thank you so much for tuning in and exploring these massive shifts with us. Keep questioning the algorithms, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.